364 abortions are committed in California daily, 17,000 across the United States weekly. Did you know 1 in 4 women has an abortion? Yet 75% of them would walk away from an abortion clinic like Planned Parenthood when they see people praying in front because they know people care. We all love choices. We really love the choice what we're going to have for dinner, where we're going to go on vacation, how we're going to celebrate a birthday. And for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share with you about the most important choice a woman can make. With the correct knowledge, you'll be empowered in your choice and to share with another woman. God told the Israelites in Deuteronomy 30, verses 15 through 20, "See, today I set before you life and prosperity, death and destruction. For I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, to keep his commands, his decrees, his laws. Then you will live and increase, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to possess." Thanks for tuning in today. I want to share with you how to make an empowered choice. And first, I want to share my own journey with you, why I'm so passionate about this topic. I was raised in a loving Catholic home, being taught against abortion and being taught that abortion was wrong. And the pressure of some girls in middle school and high school, and the pressure was so strong for sex. So kids have strong hormones, struggling to listen to their moms and dads, but pro-life values must still be taught in the home. They're not taught in the public schools. People used to see abortions as blobs of cells, but with the science of sonograms, we can see the babies in utero. Students are desensitized to the seriousness of abortions, and a woman's right to choose is a terrible choice when it's to kill her baby. So the data shows that 1 in 4 women has an abortion. 50% of these women have repeat abortions. So 20 years later, in 1999, I returned to school and I took a human growth and development class at a prominent Christian university. I was shocked when the professor took a neutral stance on teaching about the baby in the womb. I never heard her say baby, but I heard her say zygote and embryo. 4 years later, God allowed me to teach that same class, human growth and development, and I taught that all lives matter, that the baby in the womb is called a baby, that a mom at conception is a mom. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "I formed you in your mother's womb. You are intricately fashioned." About the same time, my daughter was a 5th grader in the public school, and I received a letter asking for my permission to have her participate in a sex ed class. So she was already competing for Little Miss San Dimas, which she won, by the way. She was dancing and modeling. She didn't need to learn about sex in school. I was teaching her as a mom ever since she was in 1st grade, the way Dr. Dobson taught me to teach my kids. So I didn't sign the letter because I mentioned it was the parent's responsibility to teach the child about sex. And so the principal, who was a friend of mine, actually called me, letting me know I was the only parent not allowing my daughter to participate. And I just told her, I just don't think it's the school's job to teach the children about sex. Anyway, when I picked Laura up from school, I told her how proud I was of her not making a fuss and not having to go to the class with the other kids. And she didn't care either way. We went and got an ice cream, and she admitted it would be very awkward to be learning these with boys in that same class. I know now they separate the boys and the girls, but I don't believe they did back then. So the Bible talks about people sacrificing their babies to Moloch, which is a false god. And this is abhorrent to God. So fast forward to January 2021, my church partnered with the Love Life Ministry, and my husband and I began to be a part of that ministry. We were informed with information about abortion. We pray, and we have a call to action. Being an author, the Lord impressed me to write a children's book, which is a pro-life children's book. I'm going to be a big brother, and I talk about the growth of the baby in the womb every month And I talk about its size and what it's doing and feeling every trimester. And I also published another book called Powerful Parenting, which has 23 inspirational stories to encourage young parents in traditional family values. Well, I thought this was my contribution to the pro-life movement, but the Lord is clarifying exactly what he wants me to do. So the problem is people don't understand abortion. They may believe in pro-life, but still they'll support another woman's choice of choosing to take her baby. And they believe it's their body or their choice. As a result, 1 in 4 women has an abortion. The government constantly is creating legislation to have taxpayers pay for abortions, and our schools are now the breeding ground for abortions. And it doesn't have to be that way. Whatever camp you're in, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, I'm going to share information that'll help you make an informed decision on how you will order your life after today. You're responsible for the information I share that you hear today, and I hope it stirs you up to action. So this is called, my talk is called Pregnancy and What Will You Do About It? I want to share the story of Moses because it's a very interesting one, and it really ties into this message very easily. In Exodus chapter 1, verse 16, the new Pharaoh told the midwives to keep the Hebrew females' babies alive, but to kill all the Hebrew male babies. He told them, kill the babies when you see them on the birth stools. Imagine, a baby is delivered head first, and the minute the midwife would see what the sex was, she would have to take those male babies and put them in the river and drown them. But the Hebrew midwives were being told to drown them in the river. They watched these babies grow in the mother's womb. And they watched, the princess took her bath in the river. So the scripture says that the midwives feared God. They disobeyed the Pharaoh and they let the male babies live. They lied to the Pharaoh and they told him, the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They deliver too fast. They deliver before we can get to them. So verse 20 said that the Lord dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew mightily. God provided houses for the midwives, and he let their families flourish. So the conflict is, today women are taught that life in the womb doesn't matter. It's just a blob of tissue, and you can take the morning after pill and stop the baby's growth. And we don't snuff out a seedling when we grow plants, and I'm growing a garden tower. We love to see the sprouts and we love to see the roots grow. So we need to let the baby grow in the womb and not snuff it out. Dr. Anthony Levatino was a prior abortionist for 8 years. And he said as part of his medical training as an OBGYN, he was taught to do abortions. I wonder if my surgeon for my cancer surgery my OBGYN was also trained to give abortions. I'm going to ask her when I see her next time. Do you have a Pharaoh mindset? Is an unplanned pregnancy a nuisance to you? I met a woman last year, that felt unplanned pregnancies when the girls are too young and too poor should be aborted. It was sad. She came from a culture who only allows 1 baby per household. So do you have a mindset like a midwife, ready to protect and rescue the life? Many girls use abortion as a means of birth control. 50% of these women will repeat an abortion. An abortion is allowed in California up to full term because of Roe versus Wade back in 1973. We're coming up on its 50th anniversary, and we're trying to overturn it because 1 in 4 women has an abortion. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I formed you in your mother's womb. You are intricately fashioned. Then there's the mother of Moses. She saw his beauty at birth, and when she couldn't keep him quiet at about 3 months, she put him in a carefully designed basket and set him in the reeds of the river where the Pharaoh's daughter bathed and where she could find him. The mother trusted God and knew that he would provide protection for her baby. Moses' sister, Miriam, was watching while his mom put the baby in the basket in the reeds in the river. So Miriam had a protective heart and protective eyes. Are you more like the mother of Moses, or are you like Miriam? These women had courage. So you're pro-life, right? But you protect your friend's right to choose. Did you know 62% of women who have abortions claim to be Christians? Do you think you could be brave enough to share some of these statistics with your friend? I want you to do three things. I want you to touch your heart. A baby's heart starts beating at 2.5 weeks. Touch your brain. A baby's brain has brain waves at 6 weeks. Now look at your hand. All the organs and parts of the baby are forming at 8 weeks. So you can say 2, 6, 8. Those 3 milestones. 60% of the women who see a sonogram of their baby won't have an abortion. That could be you, that could be your friend, it could be your grandchild or your granddaughter. So what's the reason for abortion from these young mom's view? They need to weigh in the balance. Is it a disruption in their life and fear from others in exchange for killing a baby with a life, and they will have lifelong emotional consequences? Adults today share with me that if they've had an abortion, they've made a mistake. When teens get pregnant, their brains aren't even fully developed and they don't make the best choices. But even when adults are mature, still fear grips them and they make bad choices as well. Regret remains. Depression also often affects women from 5 to 15 years, but I'm seeing it in women even after 45 years. Take a look at our middle school and high school students. Partying, little supervision, too much to drink, and their inhibitions leave. And there you are with your unplanned pregnancy. And do I dare say a crisis pregnancy? God gave Moses his mother wisdom to put him in the reeds. She knew the soft spot of the princess and her maidens. What young girl doesn't like a newborn baby and has compassion when she hears a baby cry? She trusted God for the compassionate people who would find Moses and let him live. Moses had a destiny, as does every baby. The mother, she knew, so the princess's maiden found Moses. She knew he was Hebrew. The princess knew Pharaoh, her dad, wanted the males all killed, but she chose life. She was going to be an adoptive mother of Moses, and Moses was raised in the palace. Today, there are compassionate groups to support women with crisis pregnancies. Choices and options are support groups that we can contact. Exodus chapter 2, verse 5 says that Pharaoh's daughter was bathing in the river and saw a basket among the reeds and asked one of her maidens to get it. When the maiden opened the basket, she saw the beautiful baby crying. Compassion arose and she recognized he was a Hebrew baby. God gave him courage not only to save the baby from the river, but to fetch the Hebrew woman to nurse the baby. And the nurse was Moses's mom. Maybe his sister Miriam helped coordinate this, I'm not sure. So Moses was nursed by his birth mother, and she was paid for doing so. How cool is that? So God has a miraculous way to turn things out for good, which are meant for evil. Love Life Ministries is a compassionate ministry that wants babies to live. They provide food, clothing, prenatal and postnatal care. They even provide housing for women who who choose to keep their babies. Do you know they even have baby showers for these new moms? So when people are standing in front of a Planned Parenthood abortion clinic and praying, 75% of those women will leave the abortion clinic and not even drive up. It's sad to think that 65% of the families are the ones who urge the girls to have an abortion. They urge the killing of their niece or nephew or grandchild. It's the power of prayer and God's grace that has these women drive away. In the scriptures, Pharaoh was motivated by fear and the power to kill innocent lives. Today, money is the main reason for abortion. An abortion is an expensive thing, and it can cost up to $15,000 for a full-term abortion. And Dr. Anthony Levitano confessed he earned $2,000 for a 15-minute abortion. Every time he ripped the baby's limbs apart and it was sucked out of the tube, he would put the limb on the table and he would say to the mom, "I support your right to choose. I support your right to choose." So whether this was something he said to convince himself, or whether, I don't know, Anthony shares, Dr. Levitano shared that he and his wife couldn't get pregnant and they decided to adopt. Here he's committing abortions and his own wife couldn't conceive and he adopted, still committing abortions. And then his wife got pregnant. So then they had a girl and a boy. And then one day at home, he heard a screech in the street. And we all know what that is. The screech of his daughter being hit by a car. And here he lost his adoptive daughter. And here he's in the abortion clinic, killing babies, ripping their limbs apart, telling the woman, "I support your right to choose. I support your right to choose." Well, he stopped committing abortions after 8 years. And God told Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1 verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you." In the Psalms, in 139 verses 13 to 18, David wrote, "You created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame wasn't hidden from you when I was made in secret, in the secret place, and I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me are written in your book before one of them came to be." God has a plan. So in closing, there are many roles you can play to get involved to save a life. Be the eyes and ears like Marianne and match these women to counselors. Be the woman who finds an adoption center for an unplanned pregnancy. Or be like Pharaoh's daughter in Maidens and be the one who rescues a baby. Stand before Planned Parenthood and pray with us, letting women know that you care. You can donate towards the purchase of a sonogram, and this helps women to see their babies. Planned Parenthood also does sonograms, but sadly, they don't show the mother. In the movie Unplanned, a previous director shares that the whole purpose of the sonogram is to figure out how old the baby is, what kind of abortion is needed, and how much money they're going to make on that abortion. Instead, so billions of dollars are poured into the abortion industry. What many people don't know is one of the greatest donors of Planned Parenthood is our government in the form of comprehensive sex education. That's why they're trying to let our kids know about sex in the 6th grade and high school, through middle school and high school. Parents need to get involved, see what they're teaching your kids. And I just want to remind you that a life preserved is well-deserved. So if what I've shared has inspired you and you'd like to talk to me further, you can reach me 626-629-3024. If you'd like to make a donation to purchase a sonogram or talk to me about how you can reach choices or options in your community, please feel free to call me. After the Cross Ministries is an affiliate of my step-by-step dyslexia solutions. So I hope this has inspired you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Please like this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and share with a friend. Bye-bye now.